right, it is 9 a.m. on Saturday, August 9th, and we are going to be talking about some fun things today. So we're just waiting for more people to come into the waiting room. Hey, Miss Elise.
Hi, how are you?
So good. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm so good. How are you?
We're loving life. Summer's almost over.
Oh my
Crazy.
goodness, I know.
When do you go up to
Crazy.
college? Soon?
I move on Wednesday, so really soon.
Yes. Like it's like the exciting, scary time, right? Where it's like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
moving, I'm
getting
really
everything packed right
excited.
now. Ooh, it's crazy. I
It's
can't
crazy.
even believe it. But yeah.
You're gonna do amazing. You're gonna have
Oh,
so many great
thank you.
experiences. It's gonna be awesome. We're just gonna wait like 2 more minutes. I have a bunch of people that are out of town and they're like, just make a recording. I'm like, okay, we will. It's fine.
Perfect.
So it'll be
Sounds
awesome. And we're gonna learn all about SOVTs. It's gonna be so cool.
love
I'm
it.
gonna wait till 9:05, I think, is the plan.
Okay.
And we'll see who else joins because I did have a couple people that said they were planning on it. But 9 a.m. on a Saturday is early. And it's the week before school starts. So people could still be asleep. That is a possible thing.
This is true.
It's
Very true.
early. It's early. But I'm glad, I got obviously my email went out because you must have seen
Yes, I
it.
did. I got it last night. I was like, oh,
You're like,
guess
oh,
I'm waking up
good.
at 9 a.m.
Yes. I was like, I probably should have set this out a few hours ago, but life
That's
is
okay.
busy. So, you get to it when you can, and that's what's important.
True.
So it's all good. I've got some cool, exciting news that I will share. I'm starting a
Oh,
choir that out in Eagle Mountain. So I'm starting, I
that
believe,
is exciting.
Christian choir. So we're going to be singing like
That's
contemporary
so
Christian music.
Wait, that's exciting. Is it like a youth thing or like a
Uh-huh.
just like everything?
Well, I'm going to start out. It's called, like, I bought the URL, I believe, choirs with a S.
Okay.
But I'm going to start out with 3 age groups. So I'm starting out with third through sixth grade, seventh through ninth grade, and 10th through 12th graders. And then
Oh,
eventually I'd like
nice.
to have a young adult and an adult choir as well. Um,
Gotcha. That's
because I
cool
just
though.
don't feel like there's enough like worship music being sung in Utah. And it's
True.
so
Which is
good.
weird. I feel like there should be a
I do
lot.
too. I have a lot of like mixed feelings about like that we can't sing more stuff like that in our regular church meetings. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
especially since I write Christian contemporary music
Yeah.
myself.
Oh wait, true.
So,
Because then you just have people doing your stuff.
yes, right. So, I'm actually in a Christian songwriting course right now with Nick Day, and there's like 25 of us. And
Wow.
there are so many people writing great music. And I'm like, people need to sing this stuff. Like, this is so good. And then you've got
True.
Lauren Dangle and you got Forrest Frank and you've got like all these
Yes, yes.
amazing performers. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm just like, if I want people to sing my music and I want to sing these other people's music, I'm going to create a place to sing it. So
You
I put
said
out
I'm gonna go
feelers
myself.
and I had 75 families respond in 2 days. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, okay,
That's good.
this is a need. So I went and toured a venue yesterday and found a place where we're gonna practice. And
Nice.
so yeah, like I'm just like doing the thing. I'm just gonna create it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. That's so exciting. Might as well. If it's not there, just create it yourself.
Right? If you want something to happen, just make it happen. All right. Well, I am going to change this view here. So I am the speaker. Nope, now you're the speaker. I'm gonna
Oh,
pin me. I'm gonna fix it. So I am pinned. Ta-da! This is how I want it.
I'll
Great.
mute myself too.
Okay, you mute yourself, and we're gonna dive into talking about SOBT. Perfect. And then this will go out with the newsletter for August. So anyone who was not able to see it live today will be able to see it then. All right, so today we're talking about SOVTs and specifically about straw phonation and using straws in water and not in water, and why in the world we would do this. It's actually one of the healthiest things you can do for your voice. And people don't recognize how good it is and how it can heal your voice. So you can use it for warming up, you can use it for strength training, and you can use it for cool down. So that's pretty cool. Like these same types of exercises can be used whether your voice is like super healthy and you're doing great and you're trying to expand your range. That's when you would do it like a weightlifting, like resistance and resistance training. If you are really hoarse and you've been yelling or you've been overusing your voice in a show, you can use it to heal your voice. So we're going to talk about the different types of SOVT products that are out there that you can buy, but also how to make it yourself. So it's cheap because you know what? Sometimes we need the cheap version. So we're going to kind of talk about these. So the first thing, this is a Vox doc, and I think it's out of the UK. There's lots of Instagram videos about them and stuff. The cool part about this cool bottle is this is the one you blow into. But because of this air return, I don't have to like keep taking my mouth out to get breath. Like I can go, and it can be like more continuous. I like it, but I don't feel like it's like the end all. The main thing I like the most about it, this is my favorite reason and why this was worth $100 and something I paid. You can get this mask and you can attach the mask to it. And then you can actually sing like you can sing your full song, but you're getting the resistance of the water. So if I'm really having a hard time on a high note and I'm trying to mix a really high note in a song and I need to have that back pressure, and I've been doing it with the straw and it works, but like I'm still not getting it on the vowels, I can use this and it's like magic, you guys. It's the coolest thing. So you can put this on. Someone else's story. And what it does is you feel the activation of what muscles you need to use in order to hit that note correctly with the right amount of back pressure. And so then when you take it off and you do it again, it just like feels easier. It just because you've already like built that muscle strength. So that is the really cool part of why I purchased this. And it's not the cheapest way, but it is a very cool way. So when I got home from a conference where they were talking about all the coolness of SOVTs, and I realized I really want all my students to have the ability to do this stuff, but they can't afford to go buy a doc box because that's like $150. I decided we would create our own. So I got all of the things to create our own. So this is just a regular plastic, like 16-ounce cup. You know, you can get them at Zupas and different places, and they just sell them at the grocery store. You can buy them on Amazon.com. I'll even leave a link of the ones I bought. They come with lids, which is great. You only need to add, like the more water you have, the more resistance you have. So usually I'll put like 2 lines of resistance. You don't want it all the way up here. Like that's crazy. Like that's going to just hurt you. Like it's too much. They actually found that more than 3 inches of water, it's really all the same. Like it doesn't help you any more or less. So it's better to kind of keep it lower. This is tubing. And the reason you would do tubing other than a straw is because it's bendable, right? So now I can leave my neck straight as I bring this to my lips, and I don't have to look down. So if I use a regular straw, here's a really cool regular boba straw. Now, the bigger the diameter, the easier it is on your voice, and it's more therapeutic. For example, if I am having like vocal issues and my throat is sore, or I've been refluxing or different things that I deal with, I will use a big boba straw either to do just sound phonation or to do the bubbles, because it's like a massage. When you use a big straw like this, it's like you're massaging the vocal cords, and it can help with healing. Okay, so big straw, big healing. This is very good. Okay, and those are just like the big boba straws that you can get those little pearls up with. But a regular straw like this is great when you're just phonating. But if I was trying to put this in here, all of a sudden my neck is down, or the thing is tipping, or it's all like weird. So that's why the tubing is so helpful, because it like bends and it like works with you. Okay, so you can make your own. This cost me like $1.50 to make instead of $100 and something dollars. Okay, then this cool mask. This is a mask that you would use for, I believe they use it in surgery stuff when they're doing anesthesia. They put it over like your mouth and stuff, but you can get them on Amazon too. Now with this, you can sing into it, but you're going to put your fingers like kind of over here so that it's not that big of a hole. Because with that big of a hole, it's not that helpful, right? So you're going to want to, I haven't, what I want to do. So if anyone has a 3D printer, I want to create like a 3D printed thing that will have a straw, one of those little stars that they make it so you can put the star through a lid. They could do the same thing, and then I could put the straw through. But we haven't done that yet. This is in my brain that I've got to find a 3D printer and make that. So for now, to get a similar response, you would take your fingers and cover it just like this. And now I can sing. Someone else's story in someone else's life. And I can feel that back pressure. Okay, the reason we want the back pressure, that resistance, is it helps us activate the muscles better. And then we're like, oh, now when I sing it, someone else's life and he could be in mine, right? I can imitate that better. So this you use once you kind of go through the levels. It's like we start out with just straw phonation, then we do like our water, and then we might move to this when we're working on a really hard lyric that we're trying to figure out. Okay, that's so cool, you guys. This is like really cheap, and yet you can do amazing things with it. Okay, so those are like the gear that you will want to like get a hold of. Okay, most of the things you can either get on Amazon. You can even just go to a restaurant, buy a drink, and then take it home, and that's easy. And I will send links out of like the different things. This tubing is it's an inch around, like it's a 1.5, I think, inch tubing. Just kind of a bigger size. Now, the different sizes of your straws or your tubing will dictate how much pressure is going on your vocal cords. So the longer the straw is and the smaller diameter equals more pressure. The more pressure, it's like lifting weights. Okay. So if I go to the gym and I want to lift a really heavy weight and I'm not ready for it, what's going to happen? I'm going to get injured. It's going to be a bad idea. Okay. So you have to make sure that you're choosing the straw that's appropriate for you. So if it feels really tight when you're doing it, it's too small. It's either too long or too small or both. So if I bought a straw, this is just like a regular drinking straw, I might cut this in half so that it doesn't have quite so much pressure if I'm struggling with it. If I have too little, like I'm doing it, I might cover like half the hole if I want to give a little more. Okay, now what's important is that you are blowing air the same as going like an ooh sound. If you have a straw with you, you can get it out. If you don't have a straw, just watch and that's fine. But we're doing an ooh, ooh. And if you pinch your nose, you should still be able to do it. Okay, if you pinch your nose and it stops, then you're actually just humming. Because if I hum in my nose, nothing's coming out the straw because I was actually doing it in my nose. And that's not going to help your vocal cords the way we want it to. So you want to make sure that it's buzzing through your mouth and that you have complete closure around whatever size straw you're using. Okay, so that's super important. For your warm up, you're going to use a bigger straw when warming up. So like one of these type of things. And then you'll go smaller as you start working on like the training. It's like, okay, I'm working on this song. This is a difficult passage. You might work on a smaller straw trying to hum that specific passage to get a little more resistance, but you never want to get to the point that everything is tight. I personally don't love using the coffee straws. I think they're too small. Some people do use them, and you can buy what's called the singing straw, which is about this size. It might be a tiny bit bigger, but I find it's too small for me. I just feel too much pressure. but you can try it. I also have lots of vocal swelling from acid reflux. So I tend to go with the bigger straws because it feels nicer on my throat. But this is, you will see people use the little coffee straws. And I'm not going to say no one should, but everybody has different levels that they're good. But if I'm blowing into it and I'm feeling, and I feel like tension, then it's not helping. Okay. So we want to be able to do as much as we're completely relaxed. We feel relaxation here. We feel it good, but we feel back pressure. We feel like just a little bit like, oh, that's working. I'm working that. Okay. So one of the exercises I like to start with is just a 2 exercise where we're just going up and down. And I'm going to turn on my musicians. Original sound for musicians. Okay. So it's like a. Okay, so the reason we're warming up with just a little 2 is we don't want to strain the voice yet. We're just starting out, right? So we're just kind of like doing it easy. If I was wanting, like I was really fatigued, it was early morning, and I wanted to have some water in here and I wanted more of a vocal massage, I could do that same thing with my cup. Notice my cheeks are relaxed and they'll start to kind of move. So if I'm holding my cheeks, if I'm holding my jaw muscle, it'll be sucked in and these won't move at all. That's too much tension in my jaw. What I want this to do is be relaxed. So when it's relaxed, can you see that that's moving? Okay, that's good. That means my cheekbones are relaxed. Okay, it means my throat's relaxed. Everything's going to be more relaxed, and that's going to give that better massage when we do that. Okay, so we're going to start out with 2. Okay, once we've done a scale that way, then we're going to try and do a 5 scale. So we're going to go. So 1, 5, 1. Now, I like to do this one all the way up the scale till I hit about an E at the above. So we're going to go. Okay, now I'm going to try and do that same jump. And in between, I'm going to do it with this on an E. So I'm going to go. E. So I'm going bubble to vowel and back to bubble. E. And then I'm going to go to the next one. Who's feeling the abs activate as you use this? Yes. Okay, so the really good thing, and you'll get more pressure with water than just the straw, but you can do it with just the straw and it will still help. It just won't be as much of the back pressure. So if I was using the straw, staying relaxed as I do it. So it's a really happy thing. Now, as we've warmed up the lower part of our voice, now we can kind of go to a higher part of our voice. So we can kind of just do this sirens down, first on an NG. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Woo! Woo! Mm. Okay, you want to do those as high as you can. And if you're not getting any phonation in the high notes, like currently I'm not getting super good phonation on the high notes because I've been having reflux issues. So I know my vocal cords are a little bit swollen. So I'm only going to go up to the E because that's the highest note I can hit right now. But we can go higher as high as your voice is comfortable. So if you can hit the G, let's try it. You need to just do the, right? Okay, we can try and go as high as good for your voice. What we want to do, once we've done like this, the 5 scale, now you're going to go to an octave. Okay, the octave jump is really important to kind of help your voice work on flexibility. We're working on thinning out those vocal cords and coming back. So I like to do this scale. Okay, and we can do it with our bubbler. Keep going. That goes up to the G. So we do that octave with it, with the bubbler first, and now we're going to try and sing it. And we're going to sing it on a wee. So we're going to start again. Wee. And see how it feels, and make sure that we're activating those same ab muscles, those same lower, like belly button down. We're activating those back muscles, latissimus dorsi muscles, the transverse abdominis. We want to feel that activation while keeping all of this relaxed. So if we did, now, it's important whenever we're doing mixed voice or whenever we're transitioning, we have to have this combination of airflow as well as compression. And the bubbler is a great, great thing to help us make sure we have an equal amount of both. If you only have compression, it sounds squeezed. Like that's squeezed. We don't want that. It's too tight. If we only have air, there's not enough compression. So what we're trying to find is that 50-50 balance of compression and air coming together, and the bubbler gives us that. Okay, so let's go up one. So now we've kind of worked on extending from just the 2 notes to the 5 notes. Now we've extended to the octave, which is great. All right. Now you can, with any of these tools, right, the smaller, the bigger, you can work on the notes of your song. You can work on staccato. So one good way to like figure out which pressure is good is to do like 4 short puffs and then 2 long. So it would sound kind of like this. Just to feel how it is. Like, does that feel good? Is that a good amount of pressure? If I do that with this, ooh, that doesn't feel good. Just even doing 3 of those didn't feel good. Okay, if I use my, I don't know what happened to the boba straw. It fell away. Oh, there it is. It's clear. So if I did the boba straw, that actually feels really nice right now. for me this morning because I woke up with a tired, hoarse voice. So like I'm like, oh, this makes me happy. This one was fine, but it was a little too much back pressure for me. But generally, usually when I'm warmed up, this is kind of a good size if I'm trying to extend. Okay, so then I can put it in the water and see if that's better with it. Now, definitely, comparatively, this felt better today because it was easier. And if my voice is tired, maybe water is even too much for it to have that pressure. So this is these little shorts. So you do 4 short and 2 long can kind of help you gauge which straw you need to be starting with and which one's going to feel the best on your voice so that you don't overdo. Okay, so one thing that we don't want to do, and I've seen people do, is they're like, I want to have the strongest voice, so I'm going to get the smallest straw and put it in the most water. Then it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to be able to hit every note, but really that just is going to tire your voice out really fast. And so we really want to feel like the most minimal amount of effort where we feel relaxation in all of our jaw, our neck, and our shoulder muscles, and activation in our abs, and our like your pecs should be lifted. You should have a lifted chest. That's just good for singing in general. And then, but you should feel the activation kind of down here. This area is your solar plexus. Down here is your transverse abdominis muscles, and then your latissimus dorsi muscles. You should feel it kind of a 360 degrees of kind of pressure. And the smaller diameter, you might feel more or less, and you want it to feel like nice and supported. That is super important. Okay. Now we're going to talk about a couple other cool things that I learned at my conference that I don't want to forget to say that I wrote down. Okay, so we will also want to use the pitch glides. So pitch glides, they can also help us figure out. So first we do the puffs, and then we do the pitch glides, and that's just kind of sliding. Okay, just by sliding through, you can kind of feel like, does that feel good to me or does it not? Right now, my head voice is like really having a hard time coming together. So because this creates such an open sound, I can't even like find my head voice with the bigger straw. It won't come together because I can only bring it together on an E, which is a smaller sound. So if I go to a smaller straw, I can phonate with this smaller straw because it's making me create a smaller space. So that's something to think about too. It's like, okay, what do I need to create the sound that I'm trying to create? But having these pitch glides kind of sliding between them can help you kind of figure that out. So you just kind of want to, it's just like a siren with a straw. That are the pitch glides. The next thing, okay, so the things that will change what size straw you're gonna want to use. How tired your voice is, how hydrated you are, and also like even hormonal changes. So like where you are in your cycle, women, that affects your voice. Your vocal folds swell when there's more progesterone in your body, and they become the mucus is thicker when there's more progesterone, and when there's more estrogen, they're actually cleaner and thinner, and they sound better. So for those of you who don't know that, it's very important when you're kind of monitoring your cycle. You'll be like, I could hit that E last week, and now I can't. Well, that could be why. So in fact, back in the day, years and years ago, opera singers, if they were on their cycle, they would wear a flower when they were performing, so people knew and they would not judge them for their voice sounding different than usual, which I find very fascinating because we don't talk about it enough. We just need to realize that hormonal changes do in fact change your voice. And so those are reasons why you might one day want to use a bigger straw or want to use a smaller straw, just depending on how your voice is feeling. Okay, so I'm trying to read this. We talked through those. Okay, So you can make a ooh sound. That's kind of the easiest because it's the closed sound. But you can also do like a fricative. So you can like do a that can kind of help find that same buzzing sound. You want to make sure that if you pinch your nose, you can still make it. So now I'm changing all my vowels with my tongue, right? So my tongue is changing the vowel, but my lips are still pierced around this. So try and change the vowel inside without just having your lips with having your lips on here. So your lips aren't changing at all, but inside you can feel your tongue changing. E-A-R-O. Okay? This is a really good exercise because often we spread way too much when we're doing our vowels and all over that. And so by practicing your vowel shapes with your straws, you'll keep more of that nice rounded shape, which works really good. Okay. All of my good old notes. Okay, so resistance is measured in, it's measured in CmH2O is the actual thing that measures it, which is just a really fancy way of saying that when we have more back pressure, when there's more just more pressure, we have it's harder, right? So if you have more water, it's harder to blow through. If you have a smaller hole, it's harder to blow through. So when using a straw, you definitely don't go higher than 3 inches. I usually just do 1 or 2. You can have a third, but that would be like lifting the heaviest weights. So keep it like under 1/4 full. I don't think it should even go over 1/4 full if you're doing it, because we want our vocal cords to be happy, not overworked. That's super important. All right, so when is the best time to use these? Is the best time to use it before you're going to sing in the morning when you first get up, or before you're going to rehearsal is a great time to use these. Now you can just use these to warm up because you want to talk for the day. If you are a teacher, if you are a student, if you have presentations, everybody uses their voice all the time. So it doesn't just have to be for singing. These can just be used, like speakers use these all the time. So you want to use it for that. If you got dogs, can you hear my dogs? They're being crazy. Someone must have rung the doorbell because that's when they go crazy. You can use them for when you're actually in a rehearsal. I actually take mine when I go to the recording studio. So if I'm going to record a song, I will take my straws with me. I'll even take I usually take my Vox Dr. Vox with me, so that if I have a hard passage that I'm having a hard time with, I can use that for a few seconds, and then I can go for that note that they're recording, and it just comes out nice and clean, and I get that perfect recording track that I want. You can use it backstage, okay? You can have a straw that's sitting backstage that you use between scenes right before you go on to kind of keep those muscles working in a relaxed way. You can use it after a show. Many Broadway singers, after they finish their show, they come off and they use straws for cool down. It is so important, and people often forget. After you've sung a show with 10 songs, I know people who've done that, and their voices are so tired, you have to do a cool down. And cooling down with humming or with straw phonation and a nebulizer to moisten the vocal cords is really, really helpful. So these are all reasons why you would use this. And you can use different types of patterns. You definitely want to be doing small intervals when you're doing warm-ups and when you're doing cool downs and when you're doing actual like stretching of your voice in an actual like lesson or in a studio setting when you're trying to kind of push the limits. That's when you're going to do bigger sirens and bigger like octave jumps and some of these things that are going to push your voice a little further. You might do runs a little more and things like that. Okay, so we've talked about 3 ways to use SOVT tools, right? So you have just plain straws, which is pretty easy. You have your with water, okay, which I think that's probably like the second easiest. And then you have the mask that we talked about, which the masks are cool, but they're kind of weird looking and they're bigger and bulkier to carry around. But definitely if you are working on a hard song, this can be a game changer to go from, it's like, man, I can do it with the straw, I can feel the pressure, but the minute I come to start singing with vowels, I can't do it. This is a game changer for helping with that transition. And so I keep one in my bag. I take it with me to the studio. I take it with me when I am teaching because it's just super helpful to have that ability to do it. And it's super easy to clean. Like you just take a Clorox wipe and wipe it down and then leave it out and it airs out. So there's no residue and it doesn't stink and things like that. You could also use white vinegar to clean it. So definitely clean it between uses so it doesn't get gross. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Same thing with your straws. You want to have they have these like little straw cleaners with bristles. You're going to want to clean them out because you don't want to be sucking in any bacteria or different things as you're breathing in and out. And you also will only want to use water. Don't do these exercises with soda or other types of beverages. It's just not a good idea. And most likely, just use water, friends. Use water. Water is our best friend. We love water. Okay. Now, if you don't have any of these things, like say you're in a show and you don't have any straws and you don't have any water and you don't have any of these things, but your voice is feeling tired and you've got to do something. You're off stage for 1 minute. What can you do? You can do fricatives, or you can do bubble lips, or you can do a tongue trill, called a raspberry. So these are 3 that are just your body, right? You just have your body. So I can do a. Okay, that is an SOVT. Now, the reason I prefer the straws is there's a lot of muscles happening for me to do this because I don't have the ability to do it very well without pushing my cheeks together. And so I have a lot of like, this is happening and this is happening and things just aren't as relaxed. The tongue one, some people can do it, some people can't. You can feel your abs work really hard to get that going and get it continual. You should be able to feel your bottom lip moving as well as your top lip when you do it. If your top lip's not buzzing, you might want to isolate your bottom lip and try and get it moving. That's hard for me. I tend to get my bottom lip moving a lot and my top lip kind of stays frozen, but that means there's tension there. And so to do it right and do it well, you want both of them bubbling. Again, why I prefer using a straw, because then I'm not worried about all of these muscles that could be over tightening and overcompensating because, our body's trying to do weird things like raspberries and bubble lips. Now, the other thing you can do is just a fricative, which is either a V sound or a Z sound. Kind of like a vacuum, right? You can kind of think that you're like a vacuum cleaner. You can also do a Z. So these will also work. They do not produce as much back pressure as water, and they do not create as much back pressure as the smaller straws. But if you are in a pinch and you have nothing else, they are definitely better than nothing else, and they are quiet, and you are backstage, and they're hopeful. So those are the cool, important, awesome things. I had one more exercise, I believe, here, if if I can get back to my paper that I really like. Okay, so this is going to be my piano will go back on. So it's a 1-3-5-3-1. So we're going. And then we're going to do on the vowel. E-o-e-o-e. E-o-e-o-e. I can choose which type of singing I want to do. If I want to do a classical style, I would be doing classical when I come off of this. If I'm doing a more bright, like Broadway style, and I want to do E-O-E-O-E, a little bit of a brighter sound, you want to be imitating whatever sound you're wanting to create with this as without. But there's different things happening, right? If I'm creating a more classical sound, my larynx is lower, and I'm tilting my thyroid and going into more of a sweet sound. If I am going into more of a belty, bratty sound, my larynx is going to be a tiny bit higher. I'm going to have a little bit more of that back pressure. I'm going to have less air, and I'm going to have more of that bratty, more of a mixed voice that's going to be resonating more here. Okay, so kind of pay attention. What am I doing with the rest of my body to create the sound I want? We-oh-we-oh-we. We, right? So that's more of a bright sound. Versus if I want a tilted thyroid. We. Okay, so you want the same, whatever you're doing in here, you're matching when you come off of it. So if I'm doing classical bubbles and then I come out and sing mix, it's not going to work. Does that make sense? You got to be matching what you're doing both places. So thinking the same type of tone, same placement for your larynx, same placement for your tongue. Like what are you trying to create so that you create the same thing? Nice job, everybody. Okay, those are like the things. And now we're open for questions. So at least if you have any questions, you can ask them. If you don't, that's okay. But if you do, I'm happy to answer.
I was just gonna ask, I don't know if this is related, but like what are warm-ups and cool downs like? Do you want to do different exercises or are they pretty similar in what you're doing?
Yeah, they're very similar. They're really pretty much the same thing. Okay, so you want to basically do mostly slides, okay, because slides help us go through our passagios, right? And you want to start with small intervals and then grow to bigger intervals. And you want to do that both, like when you're warming up, you go from small to bigger. When you're cooling down, you just like kind of were big and you just start coming smaller. So you don't really do the big ones anymore. Does that kind of make sense? So with warming up, we're expanding, and with cooling down, we're just shrinking and bringing, like just relaxing the voice. You definitely want to use a bigger straw for cool down because you're wanting to more massage the vocal cords than you are trying to give them like resistance for strength training. Does that help? Yes? So good. So good. Okay. I hope this was so helpful. I hope you learned some things and that you're able to like go and use this in your daily life. And I'm not kidding. Like if you're sick, if you have allergies, if you have any of those things going on, I deal with acid reflux a lot. It's something that is not fun, but straws save me. I sometimes wake up in the morning with zero voice. Like I can hit no notes. I can't even like hit a G. And then because of straw phonation, by the end of the day, I can hit high E, sometimes high G, and I can extend that range. And it's because I'm doing these exercises, because my health conflicts make it so like I reflux every night. So this is a thing that can help when you have chronic issues, and some other chronic issues can be post-nasal drip if you have severe allergy issues. This is something that can help with maintaining a healthy voice, even in the presence of issues. So if you have vocal nodules, or if you've ever had a vocal polyp, you will want to be doing almost exclusively straw phonation to help heal that, and very little talking. So these are things that I hope you learn from, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and I will answer them. Thank you for coming today.